Hi everyone, my name is Liz Patton. I am the owner and speech-language pathologist at Healthy Speech Solutions. Specialize in online speech therapy in North Carolina and Florida for children and adults who have speech, language, and swallowing difficulties. I really want to say thank you for watching my mini series called Taking Control of Language Impairment After Stroke and Brain Injury. This series is really going to focus on basic anatomy physiology to explain why different language impairments take place after a stroke and brain injury. I can give you the strategies to talk better, which is sure why you're here. But I'm a huge believer that if you understand its association with the brain, the strategies I'm going to give you is going to make more sense. It's less scary, to me, it's less scary when you have knowledge to empower yourself to understand the why behind the problem. We're also going to be talking about specific language impairments associated to strokes and brain injury, such as the one I hear all the time. I know what I want to say, but I can't get it out. That's called aphasia. Or another one I see all the time. You're trying to grope, trying to get the sound out. You're just trying to say hi. You go, hi. You're groping to get the sound out. It's just not, the coordination in the brain isn't working. It's called apraxia speech. You're having slurred speech. What? It's called dysarthria. Those are all 3 different areas that can be affected after a stroke and depending on the location, the severity of a brain injury. Speech therapy strategies, that's the one you're here for. We're going to be talking about strategies to help you have clearer communication, okay? So we're really going to be focusing on first is the brain is divided into 2 parts. We're starting with the basics because I really think it's important to first understand how different parts of the brain affects how you talk, how you live, and how you see the world. So first, we're going to be focusing on the left side of the brain, okay? The left side of the brain, this is your side of the brain. This is the language part of your brain. This focuses on learning new vocabulary. This is focusing on looking at that and saying, that's a computer. You're looking at someone running down the street and go, running. The grammar is also involved in the left side of the brain. It's your ability to put a noun and a verb together. The ability to say 2 books. To know that the K needs an S after books in order to be able to make it 2 versus 1 book has only 1 book and doesn't have an S at the end. It's understanding these grammar rules that make our language, whether it's English, Spanish, or any other language out there. Being able to understand directions. Someone says, turn left at the second stop sign, then turn right. The ability to understand these directions so you can find your way to a new store or house you haven't been to before. Reading and understanding a book, looking at the letters, and you know that the letters have meaning. You're saying, okay, I see a girl. So you're picturing in your mind, you just read, I see a girl. Writing letters on a page, being able to write a letter to someone, typing an email, it's language. Remembering new information. That part of the memory is located in the left side of the brain. How about math? Not my area of strength, but for math, you have understanding 1 + 1 means 2. So what about the right side of the brain? Okay, this is a different part. This doesn't have as much to do about language as the left side of the brain, but the right side is just as fascinating because it's talking about feelings. It's talking about emotions. I feel sad, or I am frustrated because I can't talk. And it's really digging in and being able to read what your emotions are. Being able to draw this beautiful picture based on how you're feeling with your emotions. The right side is the artsy part of the brain. It's the musician part of the brain. It's being able to draw a picture, painting, sculpting. Personally, I'm not much of an artist. Patients tell me I'm really good at drawing stick figures. Can't win it all, right? But being able to play a musical instrument and not just playing it, but having the rhythm. Tap, tap, ta-da-da-da, and being able to really have that rhythm when you're playing it. That's the right side of the brain. Looking at a stop sign or looking at a yield sign and seeing the shape of the sign, seeing the symbol of the sign and understanding what that symbol means. Something like multitasking, being able to talk on the phone, writing what they're saying down, and then having your child tugging on your sleeve going, mommy, mommy, pay attention to me. And you're doing all these things at the same time. It requires skill. Oh, and I also purposely changed the left side of the brain font is very bold. It's very street, it's very language. And the right side bold on the screen is very artsy. It's fun, it's exciting, has more feeling, sensation to represent two different sides of the brain. So left side of the brain, here's a scenario. We're going to take a look at it. Look at this boy. He has a brain teaser cube puzzle. These things are so much fun. I have so much fun. So think about, he is activating the left side of his brain because he has to do some problem solving skills looking at this brain teaser. He's learning the cause and effect relationship. If I turn the dial, different colors are going to pop up. He's strategizing how to solve the puzzle. I know from a math standpoint, I have to get 6 of the same color on the same side. And I'm going to do this, this, and this to make that happen. Math and strategy. He's going to be able to communicate. Hey, I need help over here. I can't figure this out. Or how did you do that? Can you help me? That requires skill. And really, and comprehension. Being able to understand how to play the game. So it's just like what we talked about. Logic, memory, remembering, hey, this didn't work beforehand. Let me try a different way. Talking facts, so fascinating. All this stuff has to do with the language part of the brain. What about the right side? Now let's look at this artist. He is activating the right side of his brain. He's creative. Look at that gorgeous rainbow he has on his drawing. He is understanding symbols. You see the smiley face on the bottom? Do you see the little heart? He's looking at it and he's going, that heart symbol means love. I know what that symbol means. He is understanding the patterns on the page. He's doing long lines. He's doing short circles and spots. He's doing creativity of all the different colors he has on the page. It's not just a black and white. There's personality to it. To me, that's the right side of the brain. Imagine he has maybe music playing in the background. He's singing along as he's drawing. So that would be pretty cool. It's really that emotion is spilling into his artwork. So this is the question people always ask me, or the doctors will always say to your loved one. Your loved one had a left side stroke or brain injury. And a person's like, yeah, okay, what does that mean? So I really want to kind of dig in and bring up that question everyone's always asking. What does it actually mean? You had a left side stroke or brain injury. Come on, someone needs to help me. So what it means is you're having problems. Chances are if you have a left side stroke or a left side brain injury, depending on, of course, the severity and location of the brain injury, it could be you're having shorter sentences, no more than 4 words. You're having difficulties with grammar when you're talking. Your words, you're probably using more nouns, probably not using prepositions like on, off, probably not using a lot of verbs, run, jump, because now naming objects is easier from a vocabulary learning standpoint. You're reading to understand, hopefully, depending on the location that you have with a stroke or brain injury. So hopefully you're reading to understand, not always, but sometimes if the left side's affected. Having difficulty following directions. I don't understand it. I asked my loved one to put the garbage in the sink, but he's not doing it. He's just sitting there and he's looking away. Probably didn't understand the directions, and that would be affected on the left side of the brain. Math can be really, really hard. Writing can be really hard to try to write. These are things that are going to be really hard for someone who has a left-sided stroke. But I got good news. What are things they're going to be good at? Of course, not everyone meets these criteria. It's just I'm being very general. So someone who has a left side stroke and the right side hasn't been affected could be able to really express their emotions and their feelings and how they're feeling through art, through their music. They could have really pretty, light, eloquent music that they're playing on, say, the clarinet, or they could have really sad, depressed sounding music through their music because they're expressing how they feel. They could have really good rhythm to play the music, okay? They would understand stop sign symbols, yield symbols, railroad track symbols. They're going to learn through looking around in their environment. That's how they're going to learn. But they may not learn as much through words, but they're going to take in their sights, which sometimes makes it very easy to hide when you have language difficulties, because you can figure out looking at your environment, not so much what you're hearing. You're also learning through pictures. You're having the picture memory. You remember seeing two toys on the table, so you're remembering it, not because someone told you, but because you're remembering it through an image in your brain. So yeah, you have a left-sided stroke, but you would still have a lot going for you, a lot of cool skills. Personally, for me, I have difficulty drawing, so I think that's pretty phenomenal, being able to have the right side of the brain intact and really be able to color, be able to draw, and really have that artsy side come out. It's pretty awesome. So the other question that people will ask me, and doctors will say to their loved one, your loved one had a right side stroke or brain injury, right-sided stroke. Again, what does that mean? That's the question. So what does that mean? So it means that the right side stroke, the problems you're going to have, it's just the opposite. Not everyone, of course, this is just very common, is that having difficulty expressing your emotions, your feelings. You're feeling really frustrated, but you don't really know how to show through art, through music. It's really hard to be able to express it and understand it. It's really hard to have good rhythm when you're trying to play an instrument. You're looking at yield signs, stop signs, and you just don't quite understand what you're looking at. It doesn't make sense. You aren't able to learn through your environment to be able to take things in. Like, I see there is an apple and I see an orange on the table. I'm going to remember that because I saw that. It's going to be a little bit difficult from a visualization standpoint for learning. What you're going to be good at, which is awesome, is that if the right side of your brain's been affected, you're going to have language. You're going to be able to speak longer grammatical sentences. You're going to have really good vocabulary. You're probably going to talk with nouns, verbs, prepositions, on, off, running, jumping. You're going to be able to follow complex directions people are given. And math and reading can be fun because it's not work anymore. And you can write letters, which is very important. And again, I want to captivate that this isn't everyone. This is very, very general, based on the type of the brain. Sometimes both areas can be affected depending on the severity and the location of the brain. If someone's having a really bad injury, brain injury, or having a really severe stroke, it could be affecting both sides of the brain. So this criteria is if only one side of the brain is affected and not the other. So this is the saying alls, I'm good at science and math. What are you good at, okay? Or, well, I am better because I am great at being creative. Whether someone's had a stroke or has had a brain injury, it's really, really important to remember everyone has their natural strengths, okay? For example, I consider myself to be a left side thinker. I'm such a speech therapist. I think of myself as a left side speaker, okay, thinker. It's because I enjoy reading up on current events, evidence-based practices, which is probably really boring to most people, but that's okay, but I like it. And parts of me is the right side of the brain because I like to play the clarinet in local community bands. You know, but my patients can vouch that I can't draw stick figures for the life of me. So I have natural strengths and natural weaknesses. But the bottom line is, after my lecture, please focus on all the strengths that you have and you may not have known that you had. It is human nature to focus on negativity. For example, every negative constructive feedback that I've given prior speech therapy students or families that I've worked with, I really try to give 2 positive compliments to every 1 negative comment. So as a part of human nature, we focus on the bad instead of the good. For example, I might have had a student who consistently showed up late to our internship together. So I gave the student something positive about them. They were a hard worker. Talked to them, of course, about always being late to internship. And then I talked about something positive about, say, their work ethic. Chances are the student ignored all of my positive comments and remarks and really focused on the negative feedback, unfortunately. But that's who we are. That's our human nature. So I really want everyone to dig in deep and write a list. Okay, if the left side of my brain was affected, look at what Liz said. What am I good at? Because you might be surprised. There's a lot more good things you're at, and you just didn't have it. You just never thought to think about it. Also, the brain is a phenomenal thing because when a part of the brain is injured, like so the left side of the brain is injured, the right side of the brain can start to compensate. So you can start to develop skills on the right side of the brain. It's like, have you ever heard like the comment like, you can't see, so you have increased smell senses, increased hearing senses. It's the same idea with brain functioning. The brain is a phenomenal thing. I'm such a therapist. I think this is so fascinating. So I really want to say thank you everyone for attending my lecture today in my mini series. Please reach out to me if you have any questions. And please keep an eye out for my next lecture. It's called Understanding Muscle Weakness and Broca's Aphasia After a Stroke and Brain Injury. And hopefully I'll get some questions. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.